In a black cloak, street gospel, light of the temple. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One. And this is episode number... Hey, yo, Cam, what number is this? Episode number 26. So recently we've been doing a lot of bonus episodes. We've been getting lucky. You know, I didn't like the idea of bonus episodes, but which are basically over the internet, Zoom calls and stuff. But the people we had have been good. If you caught our last episode, it was with Marcellus Wiley. Solid episode. Definitely one that I enjoyed a lot. So, but today I got a great guest on. I mean, I got to play a little bit of music to introduce him. I've probably known this guy, I don't know, it's got to be at least 30 years. A minimum. I might even be 35 years. And we'll kind of get into it, how I met him. But he is a son of God. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a preacher and evangelist. Okay. I like him best as a hooper. This guy, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. He's been one of the best hoopers that I've seen around. The original hooper that I know that just could ball anybody up on the court. So the original hooper that I started playing with first. But without further ado, I want to introduce this guy to the Street Gospel Podcast. Everybody out there, give it up for my man, Abraham Pedraja.
How you doing, bro? Yo, what's up?
What's up, brother?
All right,
How's
brother.
everything, man?
Oh, man, I'm blessed. I'm doing good. I mean, everything's doing good for me. I mean, I can't have no complaints.
No complaints.
I'm still balling, though.
You still balling?
Yeah.
I got to see this. Not to put you on blast, but how old are you now?
I'm 62 and spanking the youngsters.
You still balling. So this is my theory on that, right? My theory on getting older and balling is once you stop, it's over.
It's over.
If you continue to keep balling, you can continue to play, right?
Yes. You just got to change your
game.
Way you play, yeah.
Right?
You got to play more with wisdom, more with finesse.
Right.
You can't go 100% like when I was younger. So since I have more experience now, I could work around it. And I put the pressure on those guys, and I just take advantage of them.
So I remember hooping with you, and I remember the first couple times I seen you hooping, right? And I was just like, man, this guy could play. And I was tripping out on it because it was you had game. And I was like, I got to be on this guy's team. So we would hook up all the time.
All the time.
We would hook up all the time. We'd play at Salt Lake Park.
Yes.
We'd play at Apollo Park, right? Apollo Park was a crazy park to play at.
That was a crazy park.
Right? I mean, we would
almost get into fights.
Almost get into fights, right?
Yes.
I remember one time in particular, we went down to Apollo, and there was a group of these youngsters that were Puerto Rican, and they were a little wild, man. Them dudes were wild. I was cool with those dudes, but I kept my distance. We show up to the park to play one day, and we're ready to ball, and the dudes recognized you.
Yes, they
because
do.
you knew their pops, right?
I know their whole generation,
right?
Yeah.
And so I remember we played. You get into it with this one dude,
right?
And you put him up quick to fight,
right?
And then all them youngsters, as Puerto Rican dudes, jump up.
Yeah.
And so and it was ready to be a big old fight.
Yeah, there was.
Right? But
yes.
It was funny because I think homeboy that tried to get crazy with you thought
I was by myself.
Yeah, you were just by yourself.
Yes.
And then all them dudes jumped in.
Yeah.
And then it kind of simmered down a little bit.
Well, at the end of the day, he said, I too many of them.
Yeah, right? But, I mean, hooping.
Yes.
I mean, where did your hooping career start, man?
Started in the East Coast.
East Coast. That's where you're from, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I originally grew up there. And
where at on the East Coast?
Like about, the city was called Union City. It's about maybe 8-minute drive from New York City.
Okay.
So I used to play there. I used to play like about 8 hours a day. Even in the snow. When it snowed, nobody's out there. It's snowing. The snow's piled up. I'm still shooting that basketball in the snow when it was snowing. And I just dedicated myself for hours and hours and hours. And I played guys bigger than me, big, tall African-Americans. I just learned to shoot the ball over them. I learned to use my quickness over them. So I'm like Larry Bird. Larry Bird grew up playing with African-American. That's what I did.
You just developed that game.
I developed that game, and I found out I had quickness, and I began to just play and hoop, and before you know it, I was rolling. I mean, I was rolling.
I remember seeing you play, and it's kind of it would be funny to me because I knew you played right away. I mean, we would play at
we did
at Gage Junior High School in Huntington Park, right?
In the morning.
We go to church. This was the funny thing too. We'd go to church. We'd go for prayer in the morning, right? And so we'd be praying for about an hour.
Yes, correct.
Right. That was the thing we did back then.
Yes.
And then we would either jump the fence, or my dad had the key to the school, and he would let us in, and we'd play. The funny thing is, we prayed for an hour, we played for 2 hours, and we probably were like, I think that prayer like went out the window as soon as we stepped on the court.
Arguing for an hour.
We would be arguing and fighting. Dudes be cussing out each other almost. I remember, I was like, were we just praying like maybe like an hour ago all together, and now we're ready to start fighting? But I remember seeing you, and then what was funny is we would go to the parks and play, and you're not very tall.
No.
I mean, you had to be like $140 maybe.
Yes.
Right? 140 pounds?
No.
How much back then?
No. About 140.
Yeah, 140 back then, right?
Yes.
Skinny.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you would show up to the courts, and I remember you sometimes playing in like sweats or slacks.
Yes.
Right? So
didn't matter.
So unassuming, but we get on the court and you had game, and then you had the shot.
We'd be spanking people.
Yeah, you had the shot and the quickness to take somebody off the dribble.
Yes.
But I think what I liked about your game is within that 15, 17 foot, you didn't miss.
I was the king of mid-range.
The mid-range game you had was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
And you didn't miss. And I remember you would hit shot. They'd get on you, and then you had that arch with your shot where you shot right over dudes.
Yes.
And I remember just laughing, and I was like, I got to be on this dude's team. There's just no getting around it.
We played a lot.
We did play for a long time together.
Yes, we did.
I remember a lot of good games.
Yes, we did.
And it was fun, man.
It was very fun.
So your life, going back to where it started, on the East Coast, how did you grow up, man?
I grew up in the projects, so I didn't grow up.
So East Coast projects go up, right?
Yes.
West Coast projects
they expand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think I always thought that the East Coast projects were a little bit scarier.
Well, you can have up to maybe 30,000 people living in the projects there.
It's crazy.
They could have like a liquor store right there, and it's like a little village.
Right.
You really don't go out of that little area there. So it's like a little city within the city.
Yeah.
And, a lot of stuff goes on there.
So you wanted to be a hooper.
Yes.
I mean, were you a little bit torn between being a hooper and maybe getting caught up in what goes on in those projects?
In the thug life?
Yeah.
The thug life, it's hard to avoid living in the ghetto. It's kind of hard, but it could be done. But I have family members that I got a cousin that have no kids. They're all gone. One of them was killed in New York, and I got several cousins that are dead.
Wow.
I got a cousin got shot in the face, and he was gone. My cousins, I'm talking about my first cousin's son, they murdered him like execution style, I think, and then they burned him to a crisp. So the only way to identify him was through his teeth.
Wow.
So, you know, it depends where you live and the choices you make. I mean, my brother ended up becoming a gang member. And stuff, but it depends the choices you want to make in life.
Right.
You know, I'm not proud of the way I lived. You know, I'm not going to say that just hooping was the only thing I did. No, it wasn't. I did a lot of bad stuff. Stuff I can't mention here.
Right.
I don't want the cops coming looking for me. But that's under the blood.
Right.
So I done some bad stuff, you know, that I'm not proud of, stuff I really can't mention. But all I know is a lot of stuff happened back there. And I made the basketball team back there. And
what age was that?
I was like maybe 15.
So it was like the high school team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already made it.
Which is not too bad, right? Because
No.
most kids that influential age of junior high, you know, you kind of made it to junior high, and you get to high school and start hooping. Usually sports kind of keeps you
Yes.
in line,
That
at
had me
least
in line.
at least for a little bit, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. I got way worse afterwards, but just for there. And then I don't know what happened in my family. They didn't discuss it. I was just ripped out of high school and just moved to California to Huntington Park.
Okay, so East Coast, you're living there your whole life. You get ripped out of the East Coast, and you move to Huntington Park.
Yes.
So it's not the greatest place to move to.
No.
But it probably at that time was a little bit better than the projects in New York, right?
Yeah, it's better.
Some aspects, I guess.
Anywhere in Huntington Park is better than any projects.
Still, maybe.
Yeah, and there, you know, it didn't get any better for me, you know, because I didn't know God. So, you know,
Did you give up on hoops when you moved out here?
no.
Oh, so you still
I came up
hooping.
and started spanking everybody.
Where were you playing at?
I played in Salt Lake Park,
Yeah.
and I played in different places, you know, and you know, I got real familiar with Huntington Park. Huntington Park was like, you know, I went to Huntington Park High School too.
So I mean, the thing about that is like anything, right? You get some association somewhere, right? I got game,
Yes.
so I'm gonna go to the park. Eventually,
Started meeting people.
Yeah, you start meeting people, right?
Yeah. And then we moved to another city, and we moved to several cities. But
Who was it with? Mom, dad, brother?
no, my mom, my dad, and my two brothers and my sister.
Okay.
But you know, I got in trouble a lot though. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I did something in high school I shouldn't have done. They kicked me out. You know, I can't say what it was. It was bad. It was real bad, real bad. And then they kicked me out. Went to another high school, and got into a fight. And then I told the guy I was gonna kill him. You know, and then I went to jail when I was in high school. That didn't work out too good. I'm talking about I was in high school and going to men's jail.
Oh.
That kind of like was an eye opener. But I held my own, as little as I was.
Right.
Oh yeah, I held my own. They knew I wasn't no chump, you know. So I held my own. I did pretty good. Got out, and from there on, I started doing real bad.
What were you involved in? Were you gangs or just drugs? What was it?
Well, you know,
Or it was just trouble?
trouble, but also the homies, you know, from Florence, you know, and you know, it is what it is. That's why I used to play handball with your dad, David Arbello, who spanked me every single time. I never won one game. I just want to let you know that I held a grudge for that.
He was a good player, though.
Your dad was the best I've ever met.
I've talked to.
No. He's the best I've ever met.
Props to my dad.
Props to him big time.
Little sidebar here, because Abraham goes way back with my dad.
Yes, I do.
But I've talked to plenty of guys, and they would, in particular, one of my friends, Tony, tells me, and you know his father-in-law is Gilbert Pacheco.
Of course.
So Gilbert Pacheco had game too.
He's that guy.
Right?
Them two guys are the best I've ever met.
So Gilbert Pacheco tells my buddy, his son-in-law, "Oh, I play handball. I was like one of the best." And I tell my buddy, tell him if he ever played against my dad. He came back and he goes, nah, he said your dad was good. He said your dad was real good, man. So my dad had a game. When it came to handball, that was my dad's thing.
Not only that, he was tall. He had long arms, and there's no way around it.
He had a shot. He had these little sneak shots. That's what everybody used to say. But he would be at Salt Lake Park for hours playing, and I'd go to play on the slide and swings, and he'd be.
I'll be honest about it. I never won not even one game.
Gee,
not even one game. He beat me every single time.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah, but it's not good for me. Gilbert was good too. Gilbert Pacheco.
Yeah,
he was good. He beat two people. He beat me and a guy at the same time. You know, that's how good he was.
Yeah.
But your dad, oh my goodness, your dad doesn't move. He just goes.
Yeah, he had the shots.
He doesn't have to move.
Yeah, he
just goes like this. He just hits the.
Crazy.
It was annoying, but he was fantastic. So people like that, like your dad, was a big influence in my life.
Yeah.
Because when he got saved, and after when I got saved, he just brought me under his wing.
So how did you change your life though? What happened? Did you just did you run out of gas there? I mean, were you at the end of your rope?
No, what happened is I got busted. Well, first I got busted and had hepatitis.
Oh man!
From sharing needles with people.
Oh, so you started doing?
Yeah.
You started getting.
Yeah, I was bad.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
So you went down quick.
Yeah, in my 20s, yeah.
Okay.
And then I used to go to Roosevelt Park and go down there in the hood there, and I just started doing a lot of bad stuff. But what happened was that I caught hepatitis. Then we lost our home because I couldn't pay it because I wasn't working. I didn't want to work.
Oh man.
Wasn't going to work. I'd rather thief than work. But so I got busted. My brother got busted. We both went to jail. I get out. I was homeless. Start doing drugs again. Caught hepatitis. Went back to jail.
How bad was hepatitis, bro?
It was horrible. I had several different kinds.
Oof.
I mean, that was horrible. It was like having AIDS or having COVID. I mean, I felt like dead.
Did you get the jaundice and all that stuff?
I got yellow. I went down to 115 pounds.
Mm.
And when I got out of jail, a guy named, somebody witnessed to me. I don't want to say no names, but they witnessed to me because they're gonna know who they are.
Oh, who is it? I don't care. We'll find.
His name was Abraham Pedraja.
Okay.
They used to call him Squirrel.
Okay.
But he talked to me about God, and I said, okay, well.
Just on the street, you guys you ran into?
Right there in Huntington Park.
Wow.
By Salt Lake Park.
Nice.
So I go, okay, well, it's all good. I didn't get saved, but when I got saved, then I was going to commit, they stabbed one of my friends in the face.
Oof.
And actually it was my compadre, not friend, my compadre. So I was going to get a homie and retaliate, and I was going to, blast him. But in the midst of that, they witnessed to me. And I'm like, man, I don't want to hear that right now.
You had all this rage and everything. You want to go handle business.
I was strapping, so I was getting ready to. But what happened was that they witnessed him. I go, man, I don't want to hear that right now. And they just drilled me with the gospel. I go, dang. So, and then I just wasn't able to do it. I got distracted. And the time went by. I missed the timeline. And that guy just jacked me all up.
Probably saved your life.
Probably, yeah, from going to jail again for murder or something. So what happens is, that was Friday. On a Saturday, I go to East LA to the Golden Gate Theater. I was in my 20s still. Golden Gate Theater, and to go to the Ginsburgers to go eat. The theater, that famous theater.
Yeah, Atlantic and Whittier.
Yeah, Atlantic and Whittier. And I go to eat there with my girlfriend, who was Maribel back then. Still is, my wife now. And this guy's looking through the window. And like, who's this fool? Oh, he better not be looking at, but I had hepatitis, I was sick. And I'm looking for a weapon. I go, man, I can't use these plastic forks. They ain't gonna work. I ain't got nothing. I ain't gonna shank somebody with a plastic fork. So he's looking through the window. His long haired dude looks like a rocker. And he's looking through the window. And then I'm looking, I go, food better not come in here. I just hit him with a hot plate of food or something, throw him menudo on him. I don't know. I was thinking crazy. So I was telling my girlfriend, kick back, don't say nothing, I'll handle it. So they come in, but the thing is that I didn't see the other two guys coming in. And behind them was some of this old buff dude, like bodybuilder, which I met him later on. He was a Christian too. He walks in like this. I go, oh man, I don't need this right now, And then behind him was somebody that I knew in the world. And he called out my name. He goes, Abraham. I go, wow, man, at least I know somebody in there. So I looked, and all three sat at the Ginsburgers with me, and they drilled me with the gospel again for about 8 hours.
8 hours?
8 hours, yeah. They drilled me with the gospel for 8 hours. And
what were you thinking? Were you asking questions, or you were just sitting there?
The truth, I was like stuck. I couldn't move. It's like I couldn't move. It's like someone grabbed me and planted me and said, you ain't moving anywhere. They drilled me. I couldn't get up.
Wow.
My food got cold. I lost my appetite. and my girlfriend back then, which is my wife now, she was just looking and listening. And they just presented the gospel for about 8 hours to me. They drilled me for 8 hours. I didn't get saved that day. But I did see that they said, a sign that said Saturday Night Live. And I go, well, I'm wondering, I'll just go in there. But then my wife tells me, with my girlfriend back then, no, let's go to this Catholic church here, and then, we'll light the candles. So she convinced me to go there. But the next day, I don't know what the heck happened. I got up, and I never wear a tie. Got a nice shirt, wore a tie, and went straight to church.
This was a Sunday.
This was on a Sunday. And I couldn't believe it, what I saw. I went into the church, seen all kinds of people.
So you didn't get saved or give your life to God. You heard them minister to you, and then you just felt the tug to go to church Sunday.
I was sick. I had hepatitis still. I couldn't get up out of bed, but something got me out of bed that day.
Wow.
I know it was God.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit. Yeah, because I wouldn't went to church in a million years. So all of a sudden I had the energy, the strength to get up, get dressed, and the people I was living with was like, what's wrong with you, bro? What do you, let me have some of that or whatever, I go, no, I ain't got nothing. I'm going to go to church. They're like, what? Church?
Wow.
And I drove, and it was like about maybe 10, 15-minute drive. I was living in East LA. And I drove to the church. And when I got there, I seen all kinds of people that I knew. I'm like, oh, my goodness. It's on now. I'm like, it's on now. I'm like, it's on now. We're about to party up in here.
It's funny because I had Richard Rodriguez come, and he was telling me that when the first time somebody took him to church, it was in Maywood, right? And they took him to the church, and he said he was high. And so when they took him to church, he started seeing a bunch of dudes from the neighborhood. So he said in his mind, he thought he was at a party. He's like, oh, I know that dude. I know that person. I know this person. And he was
same thing
like,
with me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, same thing with me. I started to see a lot of people that I knew, people I grew up with.
Yeah.
And I go, man, I grew up with these people. Wow. But I forgot that I was in a church. And then I looked around. I go, wait a minute. There's a lot of brown people in here and one white guy preaching. This doesn't make sense to me.
Right?
Yeah. I go, what's all these homies doing here? Listen to this dude. I go,
in East LA.
In East LA. I don't know about that. And he looked like a cowboy, like a hillbilly or something. I don't know, something. I go, what the? Oh, heck no. And I was so distracted. I didn't understand. One thing was I'm looking at him, I go, these people are being brainwashed by this dude. Oh, this is not right,
Right?
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, it probably looked weird.
I was from the outside looking in.
Right.
Never been saved in my life.
Wow.
I didn't go to church. The only time I went to church, my family didn't go to church. So the only time I went to church is during a funeral because nobody got married. Either they got killed or something, So
funeral, that's it.
Yes, funeral, that's it. Death,
Right.
Yeah, they never went to the weddings or nothing. They didn't, no weddings,
no baptism, no nothing.
No baptism, no quinceañeras, no nothing.
Yes, that's it.
When you grow up, you move, you die, you live, whatever, So I'm looking at this and I go, what the heck, man? Something's not right here. How can I be brainwashed by this one dude? And then the time went by so quick that he makes an altar call. And he said, every head bowed, every eye closed, no looking around. And I'm like looking around, like, what's up? What's wrong with these people? Now they're listening to everything he says too. If they say jump off a bridge, you're gonna jump off a bridge. I'm like, oh heck. And when he began to make that altar call, I started crying.
Wow.
The tears, I couldn't stop. I go, heck no. Men don't cry. And I'm like, I'm trying to, and they just wouldn't stop. I don't know what the heck came over me. And I'm trying to contain myself, And then all of a sudden, I see like an ex-girlfriend in the front. I go, heck no, I don't want to see her. And then the boyfriend turns around, like, fool, look at me looking at me. There's going to be a fight up in here, It was
of course.
And I'm all distracted, and I see a hand. And I didn't want that dude to see me crying, like, oh, what a wimp, what a wimp,
Yeah.
I go, heck no. So I see a hand touch me. And it was that same guy that witnessed to me in the Ginsburgers.
Wow.
He goes, you want to go down? I go, what? Go down where? I'm like, get your hands off me, bro. I love to get your hands off me. And he goes, come on, I'll walk. I ain't going anywhere, bro. I had to, and I was in a balcony too. I had to walk all the way down the stairs. So I don't know about that one. He goes, come on, trust me. And I just got up and I walked down the stairs and I gave my life to Christ. And what happened is, I don't know what happened. I began to weep and cry and all the bad things I'd done. I felt such a weight come off of me, such a tremendous weight. That when I got up, I cried. I must have cried about 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. When I got up, everybody was gone.
What?
Everybody was gone.
Wow.
I was by myself there. And one of the ushers was the Bible study leader. He goes, hey, you want to go to my Bible? And I knew that dude.
Wow.
I go, hey, what's up, bro? I go, what's everybody? He goes, all left. You've been here crying for 15 minutes. I go, wow. So, I ended up going to his Bible study. And
did you feel like the power of God, or did you feel something and you were just like overcome?
I was overcome.
Yeah.
I was totally overcome.
Yeah.
I never felt nothing like that in my life.
Wow. Were you tripping? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I was tripping, and I was crying, and I said the sinner's prayer, but I just felt such a weight come off of me.
Oh,
and then I had to go talk to your dad because I had a bunch of issues. I could, will God forgive me because I did this? And I could trust him,
Yeah.
Will God forgive me because I did that? Will God forgive me because I did this? Will I miss the rapture? I mean, and he tells me, you know what? Why don't you just come to my class? I go, you teach a class? He goes, yeah. I go, what, on handball? He goes, no. He goes, no, I teach a class, a new converts class, for new foundation. I go, okay, I'll go to it. And I went to that class and I began to learn a ton. And then since I was a huge boxing fan, your dad said, why don't you come to watch the boxing match over with me?
Right.
With Woody and them. I go, okay, all right. So I began to grow through fellowship. Those guys began to embrace me in fellowship with me.
So I like to talk about that because not just because it was about my dad, but the importance of you finding not only God, which you never had in your life,
right? Never.
But some sort of community and some sort of a mentorship, right?
Yes.
I mean, in the church they call it discipleship, but it's a mentorship where somebody you kind of gets you underneath their wing and helps you.
That's what he did.
To be a man, eventually a husband, a father, right? I mean, those things are so important today, right? Yes. It's and that's what I tell guys all the time. It's like you need that in your life. You didn't have that in your life. Growing up, you didn't have any of that.
None of that.
You come, you find God, and you find it in the church, and you get some direction, right?
Big time direction from a big time leader. Not only that, he imparted some biblical principles and precepts that I'll never forget in my life, and that really kind of saved my bacon when I was going through it. And not only that, but just the friendship. I think the friendship pulled me in. Yeah. The openness pulled me in more, and the love. I'll never forget how much he loved his family, how much he loved you guys. He was a little kid back then.
Yeah, I was a little kid.
Yeah, he was a little kid, yeah.
I remember the first day.
I used to mess with you, bro. You like me.
Yeah.
You used to like me, bro.
I liked you.
Yeah, you did.
I remember the first day you and Maribel came to the house. I mean, there's a picture that my dad took of you guys.
That's right.
And it was like Christmas time.
Yes, it was.
And he said, get in front of the tree and take a picture.
I still got it.
Right?
Yes, I still got it. It's in my phone.
I remember that day, and
Oh, we weren't even married.
yeah, you weren't married yet.
Not yet,
You were
no.
just dating.
Yes.
Right? And I remember you coming over, and I just remember a kid, like, you were, Abraham's always been Abraham.
Yes.
Back then, now.
And now. I don't
Animated,
change. I don't change.
funny, joking around
Still
with
animated.
you. Yeah, very animated.
Yes.
And I remember this. I go, this dude's animated, man.
Yeah, I
He's
am.
coming, and we were, and you hit it off. I mean, definitely became friends.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
I had to wait for you to grow up, though.
yeah. I used to know. I think I used to annoy you more than anything.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know me better than a lot of people.
you come to the Lord, and then your girlfriend's still with you now.
Yes.
Maribel.
Yes.
So known Maribel forever too. And
Yes, you do.
why did she stay with you? I think that I think that's crazy because you had hepatitis. I know Maribel. She's
Went to jail, got busted.
Yeah,
all
he got
kinds of
busted. She's the
Homeless.
sweetest person.
Yes, she is.
So if we really think about it, why did she stay with you?
Well, statistically, that's insane. Most girls will leave you. But I believe God had a lot to do with it. I believe God orchestrated that relationship. And I believe God, she didn't get saved right away because she used to come to church during the altar call. So she can go party, but the girls grabbed her. You know, they grabbed her and then just talked to her, and she never got a chance to party.
So she didn't come to God right away. You did.
She came during the altar call.
And are you trying to like, hey, this is what's happening? Come on.
I tried to talk to her, but she said I was brainwashed.
Oh man.
And she had a religion, and you know, she just wouldn't. And then she got so mad at me, she tried to run me over in front of the people. She threw a car on me one time in front of the brothers. She drove up in there. Everybody just flew to the side. We're like, ah.
Oh, so I guess Maribel wasn't always nice, Maribel.
Well, I guess she was really mad at me. I guess I pressed. That was the last straw for her. You know.
Yeah.
She tried to run me over, and she like went off the deep end there, and then she got saved.
Okay.
After that, I guess that was the last thing the devil was going to use. But she got saved, and you know, we started getting counseling, and we started going to Bible study. We plugged in, and then we ended up splitting up for about. We split up because we said, let's serve God now that you're saved, and if this is God, we'll get back together. So we did that. We split up for about 6 months. We began to seek God. And when I went to a prayer room on one, I think it was on a Sunday morning, I seen her praying there. And God said, stop trying to look anywhere else. That's your woman there.
Wow.
Look at her. All these women got all these perfume on. They're carrying big Bibles and beautiful dresses. They're not in the prayer room. That woman is.
Nice.
So, you know, it's like God telling me, hey, all these women carrying big Bibles and, yes, brother, praise the Lord, dancing in the altar. But the one, during worship service, but the one that was in the prayer room was my wife. He goes, that's what you need right there. She's going to be your helpmate.
Wow.
I'm going to prepare you for something powerful. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was how that began. So
And
then,
you guys got married.
then we got married.
How long you been married?
Since 1988.
Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Man.
But I've been with her since she was 17. So I'm like her I'm her high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
And I put that woman through trouble. One time, she almost got raped because of me in Compton.
What?
I started a riot. My fault.
What?
Well, this was...
You started a riot in Compton,
Yeah, in Ludus Park.
and she almost got raped.
Yeah, because I started a riot and about 50 of those gang members came.
Wait, what did you do? What did you do to start a riot? And what is a Puerto Rican doing in Ludus Park, bro?
Starting trouble.
Starting trouble. All
Yeah.
right, we'll just leave
Well,
it at that.
no, I could say what I did.
It was back then.
Yeah. Well, what happened is I started pop blocking against Crip. No, Blood. He was a Blood. Started like pop blocking.
Yeah.
And then I was beating him at it. So he came and he got aggressive. So I knocked him out.
Oh, man.
And when
Over pop locking?
Yeah. Because I embarrassed him in front of his buddies. So I ended up knocking him out. Nasty knockout. You know? And I hovered over him like this.
Yeah, you started doing
Yeah, well, he came.
wave after you knocked him out or what?
No, I just stood over him like yeah, you know. But what happened is he got aggressive on me, and I just went brrr, you know. And I just hit him too fast, and he got stunned, and I kicked him in the face, and he got knocked out. So, but then the other guy go, what? And I went like this, like I had something.
Oh, God.
So they split. I go, yeah, y'all fools better leave. So they left, but I had Maribel with me, and they came back with about 50 people.
Oh man!
And they started shanking people. They started just shanking people left and right. I had to grab Maribel and just go in the gym, and they was banging on the gym. I go, man, they're gonna get my girlfriend. She was only 17.
Oh,
I was in my early 20s. I go, man, no, she was 18. And I was in my early talking, man, they're about to get her, you know? And I wouldn't let them come in, and all of a sudden, they started shanking people outside. The helicopters came, the ghetto bird came, and that's what saved my bacon. I put that woman through a lot, you know?
Man.
So, yeah, she...
she should have ran. Maybe not now, but back then.
Yeah, she should have. Oh, they probably would have caught her. But I threw her in the gym, and
I mean, she should have ran from you. Not from the guy.
From me, yeah, you're right.
The kettle bird, come get me. Hurry,
Yeah.
somebody help me.
Yeah, finally they came in and rescued us, you know.
Wow.
So I did a lot of stuff like that, you know.
But to be married, to still be married, is amazing. And she stood by you.
She stood by me.
I mean, that's crazy.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Homeless, jobless,
Right.
busted.
Yeah, all that.
She waited for me.
Hepatitis, everything.
Titus, yeah.
Man.
Knowing I did drugs.
Yeah. So you gave your life to the Lord. You get married. And then I remember right away, like not right away, but over the years you started preaching.
Yes.
Now, I want to get into that aspect because when a lot of people think about preachers, you're a pastor now, but you started off as an evangelist.
I still do both.
Still do both, right?
And church plant.
And send out churches.
Yes.
So not only you're like a mother church to
Yes.
a bunch of baby churches,
Yes.
right? How many baby churches you have out there?
Well, I got 2 in Mexico, 1 in Nicaragua, Vietnam, Highland Park,
So
Grand Terrace,
all over.
basically.
So now I remember when you were an evangelist, you started preaching. And I want to get into this because a lot of times people equate preaching, pastors, evangelists as people that just want money,
Wow.
right? The people in the see a preacher and they think, oh, this guy's asking for money.
Right.
Or this guy's up to no good. Kind of like when you first came to the church, right? What's the scam going on here?
That's what they told me.
Right? There's something's weird about this. Something's fishy about this.
They asked me how much money I was going to give to the pastor, to the church.
Right. So you
My own family asked me that.
yeah, so you got like one eyebrow up thinking like, is this legit? And a lot of people think that, but I know you.
Yes.
The audience doesn't know you. There is no money to be made
No.
doing that, right?
No, there's no money to be made. No.
And I say that because you really have to be called.
Yes. It's a gift.
It's a gift, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that gift.
Well, it says it in Ephesians chapter 4. It's a gift. That it's a gift. The gift of a pastor, the gift of an apostle, the gift of a prophet, the gift of an evangelist, the gift of a pastor, and the gift of a teacher. These are gifts that Jesus Christ gave when he ascended. So it's a gift.
Because a lot of people, you can't go and buy your own gift,
No.
right?
No.
You can't give a gift to yourself.
No.
Right?
Can't,
A
no.
gift is exactly what it is.
It comes from up above.
Yes.
It comes from Jesus.
given.
He gives you the gift, and then he calls you. The problem is that if you're not gifted and you think you're called, you're gonna make it about the money because you're gonna struggle. So I never struggled financially because I didn't do it for the money because I was gifted. God took care of me. The Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you." So I never lacked nothing. And it wasn't about the money. It's about reaching people. I was just glad I was saved, and I was glad I could reach people, help people. I seen so many people get healed, delivered, set free. I seen people get up out of wheelchairs and blind eyes open. I mean, I seen all kinds of stuff in the mid years of ministry. But God knew I didn't do it for the money. He knew.
Because that's the aspect you need to have, right? There's a lot of people that think, even within the church, they think, hey, I want to be a pastor, and the next words that come out, I want to be full time, right?
Right.
So it's almost to the point of like, well, what do you really want to be? You want to be a preacher, an apostle, an evangelist, a pastor, but you're talking about being full time. Being full time means that it'll cover your finances, right? And it doesn't always work out that way, correct?
99.99 doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Because the motive is not right. You can't do it for that motive. It'll never work. Because if you do it for that motive, then you don't got the gift. You just don't got the gift. Because if you have the gift, you won't think like that. You see, that's the last thing. It's sad how people do that. They think if it doesn't work out. I had someone tell me, well, if it doesn't work out in the job, I'll just become a pastor. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
It's not an occupation, right?
No, it's not an occupation. It's a gift.
Gift, calling.
Yes, and calling.
If you're not called, you don't want no part of this, right?
If you're not called, you're not gifted. One comes with the other. You can't have one without the other. They have to come together.
Right.
So, but the thing is that if you're gifted, you'll pay the price. See, if you're not called, you won't pay the price.
Right.
Years ago, I seen a guy, a famous evangelist, preaching. It's the only time I seen my pastor get slain in the spirit. And when I seen him, I was young. I didn't know too much. I was barely married. I wasn't even. I was still going to that class your dad was teaching. And I seen what he had and I wanted it. So after the conference, it was a big conference. After that conference, I grabbed him. I eyeballed him. I'm gonna get that man.
Were you already feeling like it building up in you? Like
I wanted what he had. I was desiring that.
Yeah. Okay.
Something inside me goes, man.
Okay.
I want
so
that.
it was already burning inside.
It was already burning inside of me.
Little kindling there. Yeah.
It was a little kindling. But later on it became big.
Yeah, of course.
But it started small.
Right.
But I already wanted it. So I grabbed that man. And I told him, and I grabbed him and I go, I want what you have. And he looked at me like I was a fool. And I'm like, well, forget you then,
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't know too much, I go, forget this fool, I was all mad at him. Because he looked at me like I was stupid, like, what the kid? He got away from me,
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it back then, And then later on I understood that, hey, to get to where he's at, there's a big price you have to pay.
Right.
To make good wine, the grapes have to be crushed. And they have to be crushed. And most people, if they're not gifted, if they're not called, they won't pay that price.
They don't survive the crushing.
They don't survive the crushing. It's just, I didn't understand that.
Because the exterior looks great, right?
Yeah.
Pastor Abraham's preaching.
Yes.
He's doing a 5-day revival, or he's traveling all over the world. It looks great, but the what goes on inside,
the price,
or the battle, or the price you have to pay.
Oh my goodness, the price is more.
Is what we don't see, right? Even now, in the last, let's say, 12 years that we have social media, right? You make a post, or somebody makes a post about their church, about preaching, whatever. It looks great.
Until you go in and see how it really is.
How it really is, right? There's a high price to pay, right?
Yes, very big high price to pay. I already suffered a heart attack, a stroke. I crashed on a freeway almost. Almost went over a cliff. One time an 18-wheel truck hit me in another country that I was preaching in. And I was going over a cliff, 1,000 feet drop. And what happened was that I called on God. I said, oh, Jesus. And the car stopped right before it went over a cliff. I'm like, woo, God saved my bacon.
Wow.
Another time, my car caught on fire with my kids in it. And the door was stuck. The security lock. So My oldest daughter, Sarah, was able to get out, but my son, Abraham, wasn't able to get out because it was locked. And a miracle of God that they was able to get him out. And as soon as they got him out, the color contact went, bam, seconds. So I don't know how many, but an angel must have went in there and saved him. Yeah, when I went to take over the church, when I went to go pastor Lincoln Heights, I spun on the freeway and I was about to hit 60 miles an hour on the side of the wall, and the car flipped over like this, and I was facing traffic, and they were coming this way. I'm like, oh my goodness, so many things. A guy goes to our church too and had a gun, was strapping, and I don't think he went in there to fellowship, amen. And all of a sudden he starts sweating or whatever, and I'm looking at the guy, and the first time I see him, I go, you know what, God loves you and God's going to change your life and blah, blah, blah. And he starts like feeling uncomfortable and he runs out of the church. And I didn't see him for about maybe a year, and he comes back a year later and says, you remember me? I go, no, I don't. He goes, I was the guy that you were speaking to, that God's going to touch my heart. I go, I had a gun. I was going to start blasting in your church. I go, what? Going to start blasting in the church? He goes, yeah, but what you said, I couldn't stick my hand in inside my pocket to get the gun out. I couldn't move. I thought I was going to get a heart attack. I had to get out of that place. And he goes, I got busted. He got busted with the gun. He goes, every day I was in jail, I heard your words.
Wow.
Every day I was in there, I was in torment. When he got out, he came to our church and got saved. Gave the testimony.
Wow.
Gave his life to Christ.
Amazing.
Gave his testimony.
Amazing.
I had no idea he was going to stop blasting inside the church.
Wow.
Yeah, he got saved.
What kind of toll does it take on you, as far as there's a lot of disappointment within church as a leader, as a pastor, right? There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of things
betrayal too. You have to go.
A lot of betrayal, right?
Yes.
It takes its toll on your. I'm sure on your wife.
It does.
On your children.
It does.
There is a
price.
A price once again
to pay
right?
when all these things happen. Yes, some people are not willing to pay the price. Let me share with you what happened. I go to pastor the church, brand new pastor. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to pastor this church. I'm like, oh yeah, I got some sheep in the house. Yeah, I'm about to pastor the sheep. Oh yeah, it's on now. And all of a sudden, a kid comes and scratches my daughter's face like a tiger mark with his nails. He probably didn't cut his nail like that. Just scratch it. It looked like a tiger ran over her. Scratch it. And I go, who did? She was crying. She was like about maybe 6 or something like that, or 8, or she was crying. And I go, oh my gosh, who did this? And I'm thinking, okay, who's the parents? I'm going to beat up the parents. I mean,
no more pastor.
I go, forget this. I'm not called. That moment I said, I'm not called. Who's the parent? I'm about to
let me lay hands on you.
I was about to lay hands on you quickly and then go back to Huntington Park, I was about to lay hands on you. Who's the parents, And then, it was tough, and I had to forgive. And my daughter had to go to school like that and had to heal her wounds, and God healed her. You put cream on her and, took her to, I don't know if she went to dermatology, to get her face, they fixed it. You can't even tell now, and then some lady pushes my wife, and I'm like, oh, heck no. I go, I don't hit women, but I'm about to beat up on your husband too. I mean, I had a hard time. I was getting ghetto with that church. I'm about to whip on your husband. And there it goes. And then finally, they broke my car windows. The people from the church.
Oh.
Broke my car windows. They're not there anymore. All those people left. And then at that moment, I said, you know what? I'm not called. I don't have the gift.
Because you would have to start second guessing yourself, right?
I was second guessing.
This is not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I said, exactly. I said that. I go, this is not for me. I don't got the gift. I want to beat up everybody. I'm coming to church upset. I want to condemn everyone. I want to beat half of the people up. It was bad. And then I'm complaining to God. It's even worse. I said, why you send me here? Right. Why you do this to me? I put a picture of me and my wife. They scratch her face and scratch my face and scratch my butt too. They're like, I was upset. I go, and I'm like, God, why you do this to me? I'm not even called. These people don't even like me. You know what God told me? What changed me? He goes, I didn't send you there for those people to like you. I sent you there to heal them.
Wow.
I didn't send you there for them to like you. I sent you they ain't never going to like you. They need to be healed first. Because I'm like, oh, sheep, bah, bah. And I'm like, oh, dang, that sheep bites. And that sheep bites. And all of a sudden, woo, woo, dang, I got wolves in the back of the church. I mean, I was hindered.
You thought it was going to be like, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of you. And then they're over here backstabbing you.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, sheep. Oh, I got sheep. I'm like, man. But no, it's like, I go, man, these sheep are biting. This is not working for me. I got biting sheep and wolves and goats. This ain't working. But God worked it out. Because he told me, you heal those people. They all hurt.
Wow.
They will hurt. He goes, this is the result of you going into a church that's hurt. And I didn't send you there for them to like you. As an evangelist, everyone liked you. Nobody's liking you now. Heal them. And stop trying to build a big church. Build big people.
Wow. What's the difference with that?
The difference is that you're not trying to build like a social club type of place, like a place that's you put more energy into a building. Now, I believe in technology, 100%. I believe the church needs to look good, but all the energy shouldn't go into that, into making the place look top notch. The energy needs to go into the people, because God is not interested in the building; He's interested in the people. God didn't die. Jesus didn't die on the cross for a building or for a luxury building. I'm still 20 years later in the boys' club, having church there, having revival, And you go in there, it's right in the ghetto. Right in the ghetto. I mean, you go in there, you ain't going to get no padded chairs. You got no rug. But people go because they feel the presence of God and they know that they feel love. If you go to our church, you'll see, if you can mark, one of the marks of our church is not that it looks good, because it's not. I'm in a gym,
So the Hooper has church in a gym.
Yes.
Okay.
Look what God did to me.
Still keeps you in the gym.
He kept me in a gym, not to forget.
Right.
Yeah, and I learned one thing, that if I invest all my time, energy, and money in trying to build a church, it's going to displease God, because God is into people. God's into people. The Bible says, for God so loved the world. So he died for people. So I had to change everything, my mentality, No, I need to build big people. If I build big people, the big people will build the church. And I'm not looking for a big church. I'm looking for a healthy church. Healthy church.
Right.
That's what we have, a healthy church. We don't have 500, 600, 800 people, but we got a healthy church. And out of that ghetto there, out of that place, out of the gym, we planted churches to different countries. We 5 minutes away from my church, an hour away, down south of the border, out of that place, because I refused to build a big church, and I built big people.
Because there's some churches where you're not even where the pastor's not even accessible, right?
Correct.
Where you have no relationship.
Yes.
I think I learned that early on. Maybe it was from my dad, of course. I always say that, was to build a relationship.
I learned that from your dad too.
The relationship is what lasts longer, right?
He's the one that told me that.
Right?
Yes, it was him who told me that.
It's crazy.
He says, build people. He goes, build people, Abraham. Build people. Forget about everything. Build people.
Because that's what lasts, right?
That's what lasts.
That's what people remember.
We
forget about buildings. We forget about these successes and a little bit here and there. But we always remember faces and people and loving them, right? How huge is that? And are we missing that as a church overall, as a body of Christ?
I think so, yes. I think that's becoming an extinct thing in the Christian world. As they go more media and more everything, they lose less connection with people. That's becoming like extinct now these days. Like discipleship is becoming you can find 1 million books on evangelism, 1 million books on the power of God, the presence of God, on worship. You hardly find books on discipleship. You hardly find books on building people. You can count the number of them, because it's in that. That's what impacted my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for impartation. Because, see, you can be, discipleship can't be taught. It has to be caught.
Yeah.
You gotta impart it.
And that's the hard work, right?
That's the hard work.
That's
very hard work.
That's in the
sacrifice.
That's in
and
the trenches, right? That's the guys that are in the trenches that say, "I'm going to spend time with this guy. I'm going to help this guy," right? And a lot of people, pastors, leaders in the church, don't want to do that as much as they used to because it does take time.
It does.
It does take a lot of effort. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of failure. It's a lot of
Betrayal.
successes, betrayal. You know, I helped five dudes in a row, and they all left, or they burned me, or whatever it may be. But you might get that one that says that.
Well, it paid off for me. I have several of them.
Yeah.
That turned out real good, and became pastors and became church planners. One of the churches that's like about 200 people and about 10 churches under them already. That worked out for me.
Yeah.
You running 200-300 people and you got about 10 churches under you. That worked out for me.
Right.
You know, so, but the thing is this: that's the price I pay for the life I chose.
Right.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with it. And it was that church that I paid the price for. It's the ones that bought me my house today.
Wow.
They told me, Pastor, we don't want you to leave. You stay here. After they got healed, delivered, and set free, we don't want you to leave. And they came to me and brought me I'm not about the money because I was living in an apartment, like a duplex. And they came and told me, Pastor, here's $25,000 check. Go buy a house.
Wow.
They did it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
After how many years in the ministry?
About 10 years.
10 years in the ministry.
Yeah.
You done paid your dues.
Yeah.
I done went through everything.
Sacrificed everything.
Same people that were scratching out your face and your butt.
Those are the ones.
Are the ones that turn around and said, "I want to bless you."
Yes.
I mean, that must have felt amazing.
I felt fantastic because I would never expect it in a million years. They came to me one day and said, and it's totally caught me off guard. I wasn't even expecting it, and they gave it to me. They blessed me.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't ask for it. I wasn't in it for the money. As a matter of fact, check this out. When I was an evangelist, I had a successful ministry. God took care of me. I had a nonprofit organization set up. I had 20 intercessors. God was taking care of me. You know, because I didn't do it for the money, God blessed me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was preaching in TJ. And I think that offering there, they gave me a bag of oranges.
Wow.
They go, we ain't got no money. I'll take the oranges. I'm not going to rip your blessing. I'll take the oranges. I'll bring them back to LA and I'll chop them. I'll make orange juice and make, put tahine on it, put some little lemon. It's all good, bro, But when I got across the border, I get a call from a pastor in San Diego and he tells me, God spoke to me to have you come preach at my church. He goes, when you going to come across the border? I cross a day. I preached my last service here. I cross over the border. The guy gives me $1,000.
Wow.
Those oranges were $1,000.
Right.
They're worth it.
Right.
Because I didn't do it for the money. So when you don't do it for the money, God blesses you. You see? So as an evangelist, I was blessed. I had no complaints. When I took over the church, I cut my salary in half. And I told my wife, this is what we're going to do. When I take over this church, our salary is going to be cut in half. Just hang in there. Trust me. It's going to be okay. We're going to do it for the Lord.
She's probably like, this crazy guy again.
Yeah, she knows I'm crazy. She knows I'm crazy. She knows I'm crazy.
Right?
I'm still crazy.
I know.
I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nothing, really.
Nothing.
If I didn't care about it in the world, why now?
Yeah.
So I did that.
I love that. You know what? I love that because we get the mentality.
Talk to me. Come on.
We get the mentality of what we had before we were believers. And I talk to guys, they would hustle for drugs, right? They would steal. They would do like $200 a day habit. And I'd be like, $200 a day? How did you get the money? I just hustle for it. Steal, do whatever I had to do.
Right.
What? And how you take that same mentality and you apply it now in a better way. We're going to be all right. We're going to hustle. We're going to do what we got to do. It's kind of like the same thing. You take that same mentality and you go, we're going to make it happen.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yes. Whatever you learn in life, you got to use it. I didn't care about nothing. I really didn't. I have guns pulled on me, knives, they try to shank me. I mean,
keep going.
I've been in danger so many times, in trouble. And if I didn't care, I mean, if I'd have died, I would have went to hell. One time a guy pulled a big old rifle on me. I don't know what it was. It was a mean-looking rifle. It wasn't a shotgun, but it was a mean-looking rifle. I don't know, I don't know
AK.
Yeah, like an AK. And he had it like that, and I go, dang. He goes, what? He's like, what up now, homie? I go, well, you got the gun. I ain't gonna. You got that rifle. I got nothing. But put the rifle down. We could scrap it up. But I ain't gonna say nothing. You got that gun. You got the upper hand.
Right.
But the guy the homie I was with, he pulled the gun on him. I said, okay, now you shoot him, I'm gonna kill you. And he put the gun like that right on his head. The thing, I said, okay, good, but not so good, because if he kills me, you're gonna kill him. You avenge my death, but I'm gonna die. I go, just shoot him right now. I'm like, shoot him now, before he cocks that gun. But the guy chickened out. He kind of like said, okay, it's not worth it. If I kill him, this guy has a gun right on my temple. He's gonna kill me. But if he would have killed me, he would avenge my death, but I would have been in hell right now. I wouldn't be doing this testimony.
Right.
So if I didn't care back then, except for that day, I didn't want to die in my 20s.
Yeah.
Why worry about it now? So I bring that into the ministry. I don't care. If you got my back, God, if God's got my back, I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about people's opinions. I don't live to please people. I'm not a people pleaser. I am who I am. I don't change. I don't budge. I keep it real, and that's how I roll with our church. That's how I roll. I keep it real. So I told my wife, we're gonna do this. Take the half cut and pay, and we're gonna deal with it. And I did it. And then I found out that the church was in debt $10,000. I go, oh man, I didn't know that.
What'd you do, Lord?
Yeah. But it's all good because I got out of debt too. So the church got out of debt. The people got healed, and in the midst of all that, I begin to establish a relationship. I begin to meet with them, barbecue with them, go to their house.
Be their friend.
Pray for them. Invite them over for boxing like your dad used to do with me. Invite them over for UFC. Invite them over for watch the Lakers. One year we saw the Lakers win, with Kobe. We're like, yeah, baby. Yeah. And we just begin to establish this fantastic relationship, and we took it from there. That's where the pastors came out of and church planners came out of. And
is that the true reward? Is the relationship with people? Was that what makes
That's
it
one
so?
of them. That's one of them. The other one is an incredible joy of helping them.
Yeah.
The reward is that, but also the joy and the peace that God gives you. And God rewards you. He takes care of you.
Yeah.
It may not be all the time in money. It could be something else. Like sacrificing all this time and investing all this time. And then I fell in love with the people. Then the love kicked in. I go, yeah, man, I love these people now. No matter better do anything to them. No matter better, hurt these people. Now I'm like a pastor. They accepted me. After the first 5 years was rough, but then after that they accepted me. Then the other 5 years was like it's on. So I fell in love with those people.
Once they know you care, right? Once they know you care.
I took 5 years though.
Yeah, but you earn that.
Yeah, I had to earn it.
And they say, nah, this dude's legit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
You got to show you love them.
I think that's the hardest part.
Yes.
To me, that's the hardest part. That's the work that a lot of people don't want to do.
You're right.
Is that relationship, because
getting up when they call you at 2:00 in the morning to go rush down there. What's up? Y'all fighting?
Right.
Yeah, well, he did this and he did that and she did this and I'm like, all right, well, 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, it was worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you've been around the world, you've preached, you've seen people get healed.
Yes.
And a lot of people think it's fake.
It happened in my own church, David.
A lot of people think that, why doesn't that happen everywhere? Why do you think God's allowed you to see those things and even to pray over people and see them healed?
Gosh, that's a hard question.
No answer, right?
I have no answer for that one. You got me on that one. I have no answer for that. But it's happened in my own church. I have told a guy in our church, do you believe God can heal you? They brought him in a wheelchair. He goes, yeah. I go, get up then. And he got up. He got up. I didn't even lay hands on him. He got up.
But what kind of faith do you have to have for that?
Now that's
I mean,
that's
I couldn't do that. I couldn't see a guy in the woods. Hey, get up! I've seen you pray for people, and they've been healed.
yes.
And you have that same
All over the world.
you
in our church.
You have that same street mentality. Get up!
Yeah,
Come on! You know what I mean?
it does come from the streets,
right?
It does.
And I'm like, Abraham's crazy, man. Like, and then the people get healed.
Yes. Okay, can I share a story with you?
Yeah.
On that? Okay, when I was an evangelist, when I was barely starting out, I was preaching in Santa Ana. Before I went out all over the world, I was preaching in Santa Ana. And that morning, a demon-possessed lady started barking in the back of the church like a dog. She was like, bow, wow, wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay, in the back of the church. She was bow, wow, yippee-yoing in the back of the church. And she was hindering the whole service. So I told her, bring her up. So they brought her up, and I go, you want to be healed? Want to be delivered? She goes, no. And she looked like she was buffed out. She was standing like this. I got a friend, you know who he is. He stands like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's standing like that. Look like she's been rolling tortillas all her life. I'm like, dang, this lady's buffed out with some big arms. And I go, you want to be delivered? She goes, nah. I go, you're possessed. She goes, nah, not really. And so I went to go lay hands on her, and she stuck her right hand and grabbed me by my tie. I don't wear ties no more, by the way. And she stuck my head between my legs.
What?
In front of my wife, and my son was a little baby. Yeah. She stuck my head between my legs like that. And I couldn't get up. I'm like, dang, this is not looking good. The evangelist is getting defeated by a demon-possessed lady.
A woman.
A woman at that. And then my wife sees my son, oh, son, don't look. Your dad's getting his butt kicked. Don't look. She turns his head, don't see this. And I'm like, where the ushers are at? I got no backup. Where the ushers? Where's the pastor at? This is scandalous. And all of a sudden, that I don't care about nothing attitude, I said, oh, heck no, I ain't going out like that. I ain't going out like that.
Right.
I can't go out like that. So I began to deep into the courage that God has given me, the faith, that I don't care attitude. And I began to draw that faith out. And I got up. I was able to withstand her force. And what happened is I laid hands on her, and she laid hands on me like she was trying to cast out the Holy Ghost out of me.
Oh, no.
I go, you ain't casting out the Holy Ghost out of me. This ain't going to happen here. So we was going back and forth like this, back and forth, back and forth. And finally I cast it out of her. And she falls down like the Twin Towers. So that gave me a little bit of, how can I put it? A little bit of faith there.
Right.
I'm like, oh, it's all not. I was barely starting my ministry. This long time.
Because you have to develop that, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No, I had to develop.
To put in a little bit of practice.
But the Bible says that you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. So that's what I had, faith the size of a mustard seed. It was enough to move that mountain. But that night, that sparked all kind of people came to church that night. Now I'm thinking I'm bad. I'm thinking like I'm acting like a TV evangelist, you know?
Here we go.
The Bible says the Lord is in the house. Can somebody say hallelujah? Oh, yeah. Come on, somebody. Can I get a witness? And I was going through the motions. I go, God's about to heal somebody up in this house. Oh, somebody's about to get healed up in this place. And I'm talking all this smack, you see, because I'm full of pride because I cast the devil out of that lady.
Right.
So I go, God, come on, who needs a healing? Come on, anybody got a flu? You got a headache? And they bring a lady in a wheelchair. They brought like the big burrito, the great kahuna, the grand finale. They brought her first.
The biggest challenge comes first.
Yeah. And they bring it, I'm like, oh, heck no. I'm looking at her, I go, man, you should have brought her last. That's like the grand finale. Then he built up my faith. Don't bring the grand finale first. Don't do me like that. Why you do me like that?
Oh, man.
I'm thinking that in my mind. And all of a sudden I tell her, okay, well, I'm put on the spot here. I go, do you believe God can heal you? And he said, yeah, well then get up then. And she looked at me like, hello, you said God was going to heal me. Don't tell me to get up. You told me. And I began to get embarrassed because the way she looked at me, she goes, oh, no. You said God was going to, you said, we all heard you, that you said God was going to heal me. I'm like, dang.
Now you're getting nervous.
I got very nervous. And I reached down to go, get up, because if you don't get healed, you ain't got no faith. I go, get up. Because if you don't get up, you ain't got no faith. Don't be blaming that on me. And all of a sudden, God speaks to me. He says, step off of the stage. Huh? Step off of the stage. You're preaching something you don't believe. You're a fake.
Oof.
I'm like, dang, it's like that. It's like that. See, God doesn't talk to me, my son. When I hear God's voice, it's like, Abraham, Abraham. Here I am, Lord. I heard your affliction. No, God doesn't talk to me like that. He said, get your butt down from that stage.
Oh, so God talks street to the street guy.
God talked to me street. He never talks to me in that, my son. I never heard that. My son, which I am well pleased. Heck no.
You probably wouldn't listen anyways.
Not that voice. I'd say it's the devil if I hear that voice. God one time told me, shut up. Once I started complaining, oh, God, where you go? He goes, oh, shut up. I'm like, dang, God told me to, just like that. Oh, shut. Just like that. Oh, shut up. I go, whatever then. I'll deal with it. He goes, just deal with it. Deal with it. Suck it up. Take it like a man. I did. And that helped me mature. In this case, I go, God, don't fire me right now. God was firing me. That's what he was doing. He was firing me. He goes, I'm firing you because you're preaching something you don't believe. Just because I healed that person, you think you're bad and you preach it and you ain't believing it? No. You get out. So I go, I'm having a conversation with God in my mind.
Wow. I go, during service.
Oof. I go, please don't fire me. I repent. Please don't fire me. I'm going to believe. So I begin to believe.
Because you were operating
adrenaline.
I mean,
that time.
You were just, that time you were operating just out of your own self, right?
Yes.
Which we know we can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Some people operate out of an adrenaline instead of anointing. And they think it's anointing.
True.
And I wasn't operating of the anointing. I was operating on the adrenaline. That's why she wasn't going to get healed. But the minute I repented, I said, God, forgive me. Forgive me, Lord. I'm wrong.
Wow.
And I looked at her, and I grabbed her, and I meant business. In my mind, I said, I'm going to lift her up. If she falls down, I'm going to pick her up. If she falls down 10 times, I'm going to pick her up. I ain't going to stop until she gets healed. You know? So I picked her up out of the way. I go, forget that. Don't worry. I picked her up. She started doing noodles. I go, dang, it's looking good. It's just like go like that. Her legs go, oh, wow, legs go. And I said, in the name of Jesus, by the power of the blood of the Lamb, I command you to stand up and walk. And her legs straightened up.
Wow.
And she began to walk. And her friends fell to the ground, rolling on the ground. They knew she was crippled. She was only about 22 years old, 23. She fell to the ground. Her friends all fell to the ground, rolling on the ground, crying and weeping because they know she was crippled for real. They're the ones that brought her. So she walks outside. Two of them stood on the altar, rolling around, crying and weeping. And the other ones went outside with her, you know, because they were so happy. They just ran outside the church, all happy, screaming. And I got mad. I said, the nerve of that. I'm like, the nerve of that girl. She didn't even thank me. And then God rebukes me again. Like, fool, she doesn't need to thank you. She needs to thank me because you had no faith. You had no faith. You know, I'm the one that healed her with the little faith you do have. And from that day forward, I never doubted again.
Wow.
That was a turning point in my life. I said, see, the thing is this, now I put God on the spot. I said, Lord, you said lay hands on people, they get healed. If they don't get healed, then, you know, they have to ask you why, because I ain't doubting. So I put God on the spot all the time. And 80% of the chances he heals and 20% he doesn't. If he doesn't, they need to ask God why. It could be.
Do they ask you why?
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I tell them, I don't know why. It's not me. I don't like faith. You know, maybe you have sin in your life, or you got unforgiveness or bitterness, or maybe you don't believe or you have no faith, but you need to ask him why. Because today you could have got healed. If you didn't, you need to ask him why you didn't get healed today. And come back the next day. And one lady told me that the reason she didn't get healed was because she had bitterness to her family members. And that when she forgave her family members for the bitterness she had and repented, she got healed the next day.
Wow.
Check that out.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with people just letting go of bitterness, unforgiveness, anger, resentment, that stuff, sin, pride, unbelief. That stuff can stop it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how I roll now. Ever since that day, I ain't gonna get fired again.
Smacked you up a little bit.
He smacked me a lot.
So what keeps you going? Your
passion.
How old are you?
62.
Now you're 62.
Yes, sir.
And you've had some health issues, right? The last couple of years.
I think they were demonic, though.
What do you mean?
Because
what did you have?
Okay, I caught a stroke in the church, and I'm getting ready to preach, and my jaw went to one side. that.
Yeah.
And then my wife sees me and goes, "Oh, honey, you're not right." I go, "What you mean I'm not right? You're not right. Tell me I'm not right in front of the people." I didn't know I was catching a stroke. So she's telling me in front of the people, "You're not right." I go, "What you mean? You're not right. Forget that. Don't me telling me in front of people I'm not right. You're not right." But I didn't know I was catching a stroke. I had no idea I was catching a stroke. My jaw went to one side. I was drooling. I had no idea I was going, rrr, rrr, rrr. But in my mind, I was speaking very clear. To this day, I was speaking clear as day. I knew exactly what I was saying. My mind was totally clear, but it wasn't showing. So everyone knew I was catching a stroke but me. So I go, what the heck is this, you know? And I'm like, rrr, 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 rrr. Forget all you guys. And she goes, brothers, pray for my husband. And I'm like, get your hands off me. But I couldn't speak. I'm like, rrr, rrr, rrr. But I'm telling them, get your sticking hands off me. All you guys are throwing a coup here. I was mad, bro. I was upset. I like, get your sticking hands off me, man. Man, forget this. You know, get your, you know. And I was trying to move. But then when I try to step, you know, I didn't feel my legs.
Ooh.
I go, now I know something's wrong. But I was clear. They go, well, you need to go to the hospital. I go, okay, now I know something's not right. And when I went like that, I go, oh, my jaw shifted to one side. Okay, let's go to the hospital. Forget this.
Wow.
So I went to the hospital, and by the time I got to the hospital, I was healed.
Huh.
I got healed by the time I got to the hospital. So I go into the hospital. They give me all these tests, and they're like, we don't know what happened. The neurologist came with a big old hammer. I go, you ain't gonna hit me with that. What are you gonna do with that? I know you're gonna hit me upside the head with that. He goes, no, that's for your knee. I go, okay, we're gonna hit with that rubber mallet. I go, I ain't that jacked up. I know if you hit me in the head with. So he checked my reflexes. He did some. The neurologist did some tests, and he says, I don't know why that happened. I have no idea. I go, I know what happened. God healed me. It's like, what? I go, let's leave God out of this. I go, yeah, you leaving God out of it, not me. He healed me. Yeah. I ain't even. You need Jesus, man, because your faith is in that. But my God healed me, you know. And I begin to talk about this back. Okay, let's get him out of there. So they
set him on his way.
Yeah. So I knew it was demonic. I talked to some of my pastor friends, and they said it was demonic because when they took my brain scan, there was no bubbles, no holes in my brain, evidence that I caught a stroke. And when I caught a heart attack, I couldn't even believe that. You know, I'm in my house. And all of a sudden, I go, man, I don't feel good. Something's not right, you know. So I go, I don't feel good. I feel like a pressure in my chest. I go, I need to go to the hospital. Something in my spirit says I'm not right. And my wife goes, okay, wait, let me tell you. No, I ain't waiting for you. It's 2:00 in the morning. I can't wait till you get dressed. I gotta go. So I went to the hospital and they told me, you caught a heart attack. A heart attack? How can this be? And we don't know. We're gonna find out. And they begin to do all these EKG, whatever you call it.
EKG.
Yeah, and all kind of other stuff. They're like, we don't understand. They give you a stress test. Okay, stress test. We don't understand. You're not stressed out. And your heart is strong. They say my heart was strong. Goes, man, your heart, your beat. Do you play sports? Of course I play sports. I play handball. I play basketball. I run. I walk. Yeah, I swim. Yeah. He goes, well, we don't understand because you suffered a heart attack, but it seems like you just got a bruise. I go, bruise? Your heart just got a bruise. We can't explain it, you know. I go, okay, well, then let me go home. They sent me home.
Wow.
They said it was a bruise.
So both those times you think it was a spiritual thing?
It had to have been. Had to have been.
Wow.
The price you paid.
So what's your motivation? You've been pastoring how long now? Sir, ministry. Let's say ministry.
Ministry.
Evangelist, pastoring.
Ministry, almost 30 years ministry.
So most people hit 60 and go,
they retired.
I had enough.
They retired.
I paid my dues. Let me enjoy life a little bit.
Right.
What keeps you going?
Passion. Passion. That's the main thing. Passion. What keeps ball players doing good? Passion. Like a ball player.
Still have the hunger.
Yes. The hunger to play ball and be the best of my age and not take a back seat and say, you know, no, I'm going for it. You beat me, I'll beat you next game. And if you keep on beating me, I'm going to find a way to beat you. I'm going to find out your weakness and capitalize on it. Same with as a pastor. You know, as a pastor, passion for Christ. Passion to see people get saved. Passion to build big people. That passion to build big people, to see them do good. You know, there was a guy in our church that he wanted to put it's passion really. And you know, what did you say?
The motivation.
The motivation, yeah. You know, to just keep going and not quit. Impulse is good for me.
Yeah.
You know, and this guy in our church says, you know what, I'm going to put a hot dog stand, like a hot dog stand. I go, why put one hot dog stand? Why one? He goes, well, I'm going to start. No. Put 5, 6, 8, put 10. Don't go to one. I go, next time you come to me, tell me you're going to put 3 hot dog stands. And he looked at me like, what the heck? He put 3 hot dog stands. Now he's got 10 taco stands. No, not the word. Taco trucks.
Wow.
He got trucks. He went from little hot dog stand to 10 trucks, taco trucks. And he's super prosperous. And he goes, thank you. Because I couldn't believe it. I was mad at you because you didn't want to bless me with one taco, one little hot dog stand. But now I got like 10 taco trucks.
Amazing.
Yeah. And when I seen him that he prospered, I was so happy. I was so happy. It brought such a joy. That stuff motivates me. To see someone get healed, delivered, set free, you know, from drug addiction. People who've been molested in our church. I'm not going to say, but, to know that they got healed and delivered, got ministry. Some of them are married. I mean,
Because where would those people go? Right?
All they do is just give them medicine, go through psychological therapy. They got healed. Most of them are married now with kids and got ministry. Leaders and pastors. And
Is the drive for you, the motivation for you also that God has brought you from such...
Yes. That drives me big. That's
from so far.
That's 50. I say maybe 70% of it or 80.
Because I know,
not 80 but 50. Cause half of it is God.
I always tell people like when
you're so right.
When
you're so right.
When you start getting to second, third generation of being in the church, you kind of lose a little bit of something there.
Yes.
When guys like you or my dad or people that just came from these rough lives give their lives to God, there's something about it in you guys that is a double motivation because you realize where you were headed and it continues to drive you.
Well, the street life did help me. I know it's negative thing, that people could look at it, but because of everything I've been through, being homeless, jobless, sick, drug addict, busted, disgusted, couldn't be trusted. All that I used to motivate me.
Right.
Where I came out of, my dad used to collect cans in the streets. I used to be embarrassed to make ends meet. I had nothing. I grew up with nothing, absolutely nothing. I had nothing, grew up with nothing, didn't care about nothing because I had nothing.
Right.
So since I had nothing, I mean, if I eat a pork chop once in every 6 months, I was happy. And I eat that one pork chop and I suck the life out of the bones and eat the gristle and I be... Not even a dog would want that thing after I got rid of it.
The hunger.
Yeah. Growing up with nothing, having nothing, that helped me. That drives me. The lifestyle I came out of, that drives me.
Wow.
And
now you're blessed.
I'm totally blessed now. I would never look back. Never look back. Never go back to that lifestyle.
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
I thank you for coming down here today.
I appreciate your friendship. I really do. And I think it's over 30 years.
We've been friends for forever, seems like. And
yes,
you always been a good encourager to me, always been a good friend to me.
Thank you.
A good hooping partner.
Yes.
The best that I've ever played with.
Thank you.
I mean, I played with a lot of good dudes at Apollo Park, and they're probably listening right now, some of them guys. But when I played with you, it was fun. I had a good time, man. And I'm glad you motivate me with your energy, with your fire. You still have the zeal and the passion.
Yes.
And the motivation, right?
All those three, they kick in.
Right.
I just want to commend you, too, if it's okay with you. I know it's your podcast, but I just want to commend you for the years that you've given, to your family, your wonderful family. I see your son back here, man. What a blessing to see your kids and, all your kids and the way you love your wife, your generation, they struggle.
Yeah.
They struggle in that area. But you have proven the statistics wrong, that it can be done.
Thank you, man.
So I want to commend you for that. And thank God for you, because you've done an excellent job with your family and your kids. And not even this podcast. I'm amazed. I couldn't believe it. When you text me and say, you want to do a podcast? I go, I sure will.
I appreciate you,
I
man.
want to thank you, bro.
Thank you for that.
Years of friendship. And I love your family, too.
We love you.
And I feel the love.
We have so many memories.
So many with your family, with all your family. I just appreciate it.
I mean, I was barely married, and Melissa would go with me, and we'd pick you up to go.
You did.
She'd watch us play at Apollo, and
Yes,
she'd
she
laugh, and I'm sure she has plenty of stories about it.
Plenty of stories. I'm sure she does.
But hey, check it out. We do one last thing here on the podcast, man.
Sure.
And it's a little thing called the Furious Five. And we ask 5 questions. You give 5 quick answers, but it's fun.
Okay.
All right? So, I wrote down some things here in my little book.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
All right. Furious 5. Question number 1. Most points you ever scored in a game? An official game.
40.
40 points. All from the outside?
No. Driving in mid-range.
You could pass, too. That was the thing.
Yes, I could.
You had a little passing game. So, tough guy to guard. But with a 15-footer.
Yes.
Question number 2. All right. You mentioned this a little while ago at Looters Park. But word on the street is you used to pop for some money on Venice. True or false?
True.
Right?
True.
How much money would you make pop locking on Venice in the 80s? Or
Maybe like $20. I did it for the fun. I don't remember.
So you were that dude who pop locking at Venice, right?
Yes.
Getting the money before all these other guys came.
Before they all came, yes.
All right.
I was doing some locking too.
Yeah, I remember you locking. That's what I'm saying. Pop locking.
Pop lock, yeah.
Yeah. Ozone. Number 3. If you weren't a preacher, what would your dream occupation be? If you could have went back and did anything, what would it have been?
BC or AD?
Before you gave your life to, I mean, if you weren't a preacher, period. I'm not saying.
No, but you tell me AD or BC.
Yeah.
I'll answer both if you want.
Okay, give me both.
AD, I'd probably be a drug dealer. No. BC.
Before
BC.
Christ.
Before Christ. I
Right.
would probably be a drug dealer, or
That was your goal.
probably make a lot of money and.
Okay, found Christ and you weren't a preacher. What would you be?
Now, AD, when I found Christ, if I wasn't a preacher, probably a counselor.
Nice. I think you'd be great.
To counsel people to keep it real. Because I do that already. As a preacher, I counsel people and I just keep it so real with them. They're looking at me like, what the?
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4, Street Gospel Podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
Favorite movie of all time?
The Godfather.
The Godfather. Classic.
Yes.
Right? Can't beat it.
Yeah.
My favorite character in that movie, short part, was the brother Sonny. I mean, gets killed, but James Caan,
yeah.
All right. Number 5. Best thing about Lincoln Heights. Not the church, just the city. The area.
It's ghetto.
You dig that still?
I love it.
It's in your blood.
It's in the blood. I love that ghetto. I just love being in the ghetto. I just love it. I eat it like hotcakes.
Hey, brother.
I love the rough spots. I love being.
That's where you thrive.
I love being rough. I love that. I don't care about nothing because I go right. Lincoln Heights doesn't have a police department, so the gangs control there. I go right in the mix. I don't care. It's fun.
You done seen it all.
I've seen
they
it
ain't
all.
no game. They ain't no scam.
Ain't no shame in my game.
that you never saw.
Ain't no shame in my game.
Right? Hey, man. I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate having you on the Street Gospel Podcast.
I had a fantastic time.
I love you, man.
Same likewise.
I don't know if Cam knows this. It just popped in my head. So, I remember I got a job in high school, and we worked at this market in Manhattan Beach. So me and this dude, I just remember this right now.
It was us, yes.
Me and this dude would take the bus
Yep.
down Atlantic, all the way down Rosecrans
Manhattan Beach.
to Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Then somehow he got some Mustang,
Yes.
and he would pick me up for work,
Right.
and I'd be bagging groceries. He'd be selling focaccia and whatever, right? This dude
Bakery, yeah.
in the bakery.
The gift of gab.
But I always remember we'd be arguing on the way to work. We'd take the same bus. We'd get on the bus together. We start arguing. I'd be in the front of the bus. He'd be in the back of the bus. We'd get off at the same stop. Later for you. See you tomorrow. Classic, man.
That was classic.
Classic. Good times at Bristol Farms.
Yes.
Love you, man.
Love you too. Love you back. Much love.
That'll conclude this episode of the Street Gospel Podcast. Pastor Abraham Pedraja. Check us out next time.
Peace out.
Peace.